So this is a case study analysis of CDK digital marketing addressing channel conflict with data analytics. So here's the case synopsis. So the case actually begins 4 years ago into a 5-year contract with regards to General Motors, which was going to be an exclusive website vendor to its US network of more than 4,000 dealers. So CDK Digital actually faced a crucial contract renewal at the end of 2012, and the case actually follows Melissa McCann, who is the Director of Strategic Marketing, and Chris Reed, who is the Chief Marketing Officer, as they prepared for a critical meeting in July 2011. And it was going to be a presentation to the Customer Relationship Management Subcommittee of Chevrolet Dealer Council. Although GM dealers, like all auto dealers in the United States, were actually independent franchisees, GM saw the renewal of CDK Digital's exclusive contract as a collaborative decision between dealers and GM itself, which is General Motors, of course. According to Ed Watt, GM's executive in charge of the renewal, if the dealer council said no, the contract would not actually be renewed. Now, this case actually talks about the use of CDK's use of big data and big data analytics capabilities to address the inherent conflict between dealers and manufacturers as an industry, as a whole. So when marketing to potential customers, manufacturers wanted consistency across dealer websites to maximize sales of their targeted brands, while dealers wanted flexibility to sell what they had in inventory. So that was the basic conflict between these two parties. Okay, so what this case actually hopes to actually teach you is to demonstrate how big data and big data analytics can be used to solve channel conflict issues, and explain how franchisors and franchisees have different perspectives on the value of the data on retail operations, and to recognize benefits of big data analytics that actually reach way beyond the obvious potential of improvements to marketing and operational effectiveness, because you obviously gain a lot of insights and a lot of information after analyzing such huge amounts of data. It also is meant to articulate the value of analytics for channel management as a whole, and to appraise the benefits of real-time website customizations based on user requirements. Anyways, so there are some questions that will be dealt with and that will help answer various questions about the case and help you understand the case even more. So the questions are: what misalignments actually caused the channel conflict between the manufacturers and dealers in the automotive industry to begin with? And how was this conflict actually reflected in the attitudes of General Motors and its dealers towards the CDK Digital program? Number 2, how would you characterize CDK's digital core competencies as of 2011? And number 3, suppose a car shopper's interest could be known when she visited a dealer's website. How exactly would the dealer want to treat her? And what about the original equipment manufacturer? How would they want to treat a particular customer about whose interests they were already aware? Also, number 4 is how can CDK's digital actually leverage its core competencies to provide a website solution that both General Motors and its dealers would consider to be serving their interests. So let's look at the case then. So this case actually describes how CDK's used big data analytics, which is analytics for short, to solve one of the most fundamental problems in the auto retailing industry. That is, that dealers and manufacturers do not share the same objectives when marketing to potential customers. So dealers want to have a very different perspective, while the manufacturers have a different perspective, which causes channel conflict. So this channel conflict arises from the fact that manufacturers sell their cars using many different independent dealers, right? And these dealers often own a lot of franchisees for different nameplates, either from the same manufacturer, example Chevrolet and Cadillac, or from different competing manufacturers, which is like, for example, Chevrolet and Toyota. Now, a manufacturer ultimately does not care which dealer a consumer actually buys from, as long as they're buying their car. That's what the manufacturer wants. Toyota wants its cars to be sold. Doesn't matter if it sells from XYZ motor company, motor sales, dealer, or ABC dealer, right? Whereas the dealer does not necessarily care which nameplate a consumer purchases, as long as they buy from them. They don't really care which car a consumer actually comes and buys from them. They just want to sell a car. It could be a Toyota, it could be a Honda, it could be a Suzuki, it could be anything. They don't care. They just want to sell a car. So in fact, dealers often find that the most cost-effective way to generate a lead is to lure a shopper from a competing dealer of the same franchise, right? That's what they want. They want to gain customers, and they just want to sell them a car, right? Anyways, so the channel conflict also is rooted in the fact that dealers exclusively care about and are subject to the local market conditions, whereas the manufacturers make marketing decisions based on the entire country and the large geographic area. For example, if General Motors determined that there was too much system-wide inventory for Chevy Cruze, or Chevrolet's marketing organization would promote cash offers for Chevy Cruze across all sites where potential buyers might actually shop. This would include Chevrolet manufacturer website and all the Chevrolet dealer websites and everywhere. So Chevrolet dealers in that area where compact cars play a minor role, however, would not be interested in doing this, right? Where the dealers realize that the smaller cars won't sell, so they don't really care about the promotions being promoted by Chevrolet themselves. So a dealer in say a rural area of Texas would say, it makes no sense because most people here buy pickup trucks. I don't want to promote a small hatchback because nobody wants it. People would prefer to have a truck. So this case is actually set during a crucial contract renewal between General Motors with General Motors of a particular dealer, and CDK's digital original value proposition was that a single platform approach would give General Motors more of a control over the dealers' websites themselves, which is CDK. So CDK digital solution clearly delivered on this promise. It did, and however, dealers considered CDK's digital solution inflexible or a cookie cutter because they were like, it doesn't understand our specific needs. It doesn't customize the websites according to our interests. So in addition, dealers did not like the fact that CDK's digital solution allowed General Motors to monitor what was happening on their websites. So viewing it as an original equipment manufacturer tool for controlling the dealer. So they felt controlled because of this website. This presented a significant challenge for CDK's digital because it was caught between this conflict. The software platform was actually caught between the conflict between General Motors and its dealers. So it aligned itself solely with General Motors' interests would be too dangerous for CDK Digital. If it tried to support General Motors, it would be too dangerous, and the dealer councils would actually throw CDK Digital out because they will gang up. So as Reed was actually quoting in the case, General Motors hired CDK Digital, but its dealers can actually fire us because the dealers will be like, we don't want this, right? So the goal of the case is to give you an idea to understand that analytics can actually mitigate such channel conflicts. The idea is very simple. If analytics can actually provide a metric that is unambiguously suggests that either a manufacturer or dealer interest should prevail, then both parties would actually come to a solution. They would actually realize the importance of such a suggestion. So as an illustration, look at this situation. Which vehicle would be featured on the car's dealer websites hero shot, the main picture that you see on the main website? A consumer who reached a dealer website after typing say Chevy Cruze in Google, and then they would click on Chevy Cruze $2,000 customer cash ad placed by Chevrolet. And using the dealer's locator on the Chevy website, they would actually come and actually want to see Chevy Cruze, right? So it made sense when they saw an ad like that. This is basically digital marketing, right? So if they saw an ad and they were searching for Chevy Cruze, they would expect the same on the website once they actually found the website after making a Google search and seeing an ad or even an organic result. So in contrast, if a consumer who had not previously searched for any particular vehicle were to make a Google search about Chevy dealer in a particular city in Texas, and they clicked on CDK's digital dealer website that showed up, the consumer would want a more average local car, which is a pickup truck, right? So in other words, CDK Digital would then be personalizing its website based on people's searches, and that made perfect sense. So CDK Digital solutions to the channel conflict problem was to use its ability to track consumers' online behavior and to distinguish between these two ways of reaching a dealer's website. So building a model of intent for each shopper so that the website would then change. So it enabled CDK Digital to get General Motors and its dealers to agree on what content would be shown to a shopper, right? So using the previous example, the approach would help both parties, except that it would be, both parties would then agree, that it makes sense to show a particular car based on a person's interest. The dealer council members saw that this approach would enable dealers to control what a consumer saw on the dealer's website if that consumer was responding to a dealer paid advertisement or a brand messaging. However, if the shopper was actually coming in from the dealer's website through the manufacturer's efforts, dealers likewise understood that the optimal strategy to convert the brand intender into a sale was to actually show them what what they were looking at on the manufacturer website. So if they came from the manufacturer website, what they will see on the dealer's website would be based on what they were looking at on the manufacturer's website. So if they were looking at a Toyota Corolla on the manufacturer's website and they ended up searching for a close by dealer, when they ended up on the dealer's website, they would see a Toyota Corolla, right? So by focusing on what was right for the consumer and showing dealers that they could control the experience if their efforts delivered the shopper to the dealer's website, this approach removed that feeling of my websites compared to or against General Motors website. So now the dealers realize that the website will show what the consumer wants to see or what the shopper is hopefully wanting to see, and that would increase the chance of that in them getting a sale. Furthermore, using this data to actually design multiple consumer experiences on a single platform actually would enable General Motors to perform an analysis and to understand their consumers even better. They would actually know how consumers are doing things. So in summary, using analytics in the form of a model of intent did not change the fact that manufacturer and dealers had different objectives that were sometimes in conflict. However, the conflict was massively reduced because when the discussion happened on how to treat the consumers and how consumers actually move from general and abstract goals to more specific ones, in other words, how consumers actually decided which car they wanted and how they actually made that decision, a dealer's quest for flexibility was no longer in conflict with the manufacturer's need for consistency in what it was showing. So now it was based on the consumer's intent. So General Motors and its dealers had little trouble in agreeing that the website would then be customized according to each shopper's past browsing history and based on what they had looked at earlier. This shifted the dealer perception of CDK Digital from a vendor that helped General Motors to a platform that would help shoppers, and in that effect help both the dealer as well as General Motors themselves. So this is essentially what this case is all about. So if you were to break it down even further, we would then talk about how McCann and Reed were actually concerned about General Motors contract renewal for two reasons. Obviously, because of the large share of revenue that General Motors contract represented for CDK Digital, as well as that the fact that McCann knew that renewing the sole provider contract was crucial because General Motors accounted for the majority of CDK's digital revenue. So the dealers were like, okay, maybe General Motors is supporting CDK because CDK actually has a lot of stake in it. The second reason was dealer dissatisfaction with CDK's digital solutions. Dealers had the perception, which was also created by CDK's digital competitors actually, was that CDK Digital was not doing a good job in search engine optimization. They did not like General Motors rules, which were being enforced by CDK Digital, that restricted dealers what dealers could actually modify on the website, and in order to differentiate themselves. So that was also a problem. Dealers wanted that their personal branding messages would actually be shown on the websites, not the ones that CDK Digital's analytics tool would actually show. So we need to look at that. So is this completely CDK Digital's fault? One might ask. And it may be and may not be. Think about it. So then comes the questions: what misalignments actually caused the channel conflict between manufacturer and dealers in the automotive industry in the beginning? How did it actually happen? So how was this actually conflict reflected in the attitude of GM and its dealers? So this channel conflict actually arose from the fact that manufacturers want to sell as many cars no matter which dealer they come from. We talked about that. And the dealers want to sell the cars that they have as much as possible. They don't care which manufacturer it is from. So channel conflict is also rooted in the fact that dealers exclusively care about their own local market conditions, while the manufacturers look at the larger scheme of things, right? That is also a reason for conflict. So that is also an issue. Anyways, it's actually very similar to how the food industry works, right? This is how it works. So you could use that as an example as well. Anyways, so CDK Digital's original value proposition to General Motors was that CDK Digital would allow for more manufacturer control of the website, and General Motors will be able to control that. While CDK Digital's solution clearly delivered on this promise, the dealers didn't like it, right? So they wanted a different solution. They felt as if GM actually hired CDK Digital, or got CDK Digital on board to control their website. So this was the major reason for their argument or their conflict. Now, how would you characterize CDK Digital's core competencies? So CDK Digital obviously had several core competencies. They were running and hosting a massive number of complex websites. They were managing the ads on it. They were managing the analytics for it. CDK Digital was very good at helping dealers allocate their digital marketing spendings. And there were a few key purposes that are also discussed, that because they were helping build a world-class advertising platform and we're using analytics to do it. CDK Digital is very similar to a combination of, say, Google Ads and Google Analytics. So you can understand it that way. So there are two relevant parts to the capability. CDK Digital Systems actually observed a significant part of the shopper's online journey. It understood it through cookies, which are referred to as the pieces of information that are stored on your computer that actually keep track of where you've been, or which websites you've looked at, what you've looked at, and of course throughout the various websites. Plus OEM websites that contracted with CDK Digital, so it was using third-party, cookies and digital tags to understand where people were coming in from when they visited those manufacturer websites, what they had been viewing before that. So this allowed CDK Digital to actually record and understand what people were researching for, what they were looking at on a website whenever they were there. The second capability of CDK Digital's technology was to dynamically target ads to shoppers based on what they had looked at. So this is very similar to how Google does it when it shows dynamic ads, display ads as well as search ads based on your previous search history when you're going on a website or when you're making a Google search and showing it on the Google search page. So this is how great it was. Anyways, so the solution that it came up with, that the question deals with is, suppose a car shopper's interest could be shown when she visited a dealer's website. How would the dealer want to treat her? What about the OEM? How would they treat it? So knowing what a consumer is interested in, of course, does not eliminate the fact that manufacturer and dealers still have different conflicts, still have different viewpoints. But once you know what the shopper is interested in, you can show them precisely that. So if they know that the potential buyer was looking at a particular car, they would see that ad, and even if the dealer did not have that particular car, it would actually take the user to a different website where that car was available. And on the other hand, if for instance they liked a particular car that was available by a seller, it would take them straight to that website. So in that way, this could actually be a solution for understanding it. So the idea is to understand that original equipment manufacturers or manufacturers of cars and dealers don't really disagree on what content they want to show to their individual consumers. They wanted to understand, they wanted to understand that CDK Digital, or what needed to be made to understand that CDK Digital was not their enemy. It was actually helping them find the right kind of customers. So this is why this channel conflict would go away once they understand that it's all about the content that the consumer should be shown. Anyways, so once you understand that that there needs to be a shared understanding of the consumer's intent, and that is the real key to the solution, then you'll be able to get it. Anyway, so the last question is, how can CDK Digital actually leverage its core competencies to provide a website solution to both of them? And we looked at it, and it is the model of intent. So basically showing consumers what they want to see based on what they've already seen before. So this case actually then tells us how analytics can actually solve a channel conflict, and the idea was very simple. If the analytics can actually unambiguously suggest a better suggestion, gives us a better suggestion, then all parties will be happy. The dealers won't get consumers who are not interested in the cars that they have, and the manufacturer will be able to send them to the right kind of website, and they'll be able to make a sale, while the dealer is also able to make a sale based on what people are interested in. So this solution actually happened, and different online shopper journeys were looked at, and a lot of experiments were done. And once that was accepted, they realized that this is going to work, and then they did what is referred to basically as an A and B experiment. So what happened was CDK Digital actually introduced two solutions. First, it changed its website solution to what it referred to as a flexible platform, or a widgetizing of the website, which means that it split the website into two different components. One was giving dealers an easy to use website customization option so they could make changes, and the other one was the GM's approved element. So it basically split all the websites in two pieces. One part could be edited by the dealers themselves to put up whatever they want, and the other part, which had the general ads and everything, was accessible by General Motors, so that they could make put up their own ads based on their own requirements and their own strategies, their own overall countrywide strategies. So that was that. So this and the second component, another component was to show ads based on the customer's journey. So these three elements together worked out. So for example, if a consumer actually clicked on Chevy Silverado ads on Google, they would actually, based on the fact that they had cookies stored about that car, they would actually see a particular listing of that car on a dealer's website. So that's how they solved it. So that's that for this very brief case study. I hope you are able to understand it better.